Okay, it is now November. October challenge is completed, and that was the meditation challenge. And on October 1st, if you watch the video, I was planning, and what I set myself out to do was to meditate every single morning for at least half an hour. Now, just to preface, I didn't do half an hour each day, but I always did more than 15 minutes every single day, every morning. I had a couple hiccups on the way. I missed one day completely. And I also noticed that some mornings, especially near the end of the month, I just did not wake up on time to do it right before work. So I would do it before I went to sleep, which also had its own benefits. So the reason that I wanted to do the meditation challenge is because, well, so many reasons, but one of the main ones was to really become more present in what I was doing. And I feel like, especially if you're on your self-development and stuff like that, there's so many books, YouTube videos, so many just external things telling you, do this, do that, do this, do that. And it all looks so good. And I just found myself kind of like a victim of that. And I wanted to just slow it down, wake up in the morning, ease my way into it, and just feel present in my mind with my goals and be able to visualize how I wanted the day to play out. So on the first few days, I went half an hour. I did 30 minutes. And how I started really was I just put a yoga mat that I have in my room. I just put it on the floor and I sat cross-legged and I put my hands out like this, like the classic cartoon yoga pose, or just like any yoga pose that you would see. And I would do that. And for the first few days, about 3 days, I did it just really trying to focus on my breath. The first day felt great. I was just I felt like I was actually really focusing on my breath, and I could pretty much let thoughts pass me by without any care. The second and third day became harder, and I started realizing okay, maybe some beginner's luck there. But also, I was just getting so distracted with everything, because as soon as you start meditating, your mind just wants you to do literally anything. You would be amazed at how your mind can just come up with novel ideas when you just sit down and meditate. Because meditation, if you don't do it ever, is just kind of being bored. Is just sitting there and trying not to do anything. And that's not what meditation is supposed to be, but that is just kind of what you are doing. And that's how it feels when you start. And so your mind goes everywhere. Now, this is a pretty good way if you want to brainstorm new ideas and things like that. And I found a lot of really good ideas through meditation, but that wasn't my goal. My goal was to really become more present, learn to focus more on the unconscious. And how I heard meditation was that you want to make the unconscious conscious, and that's why you're doing your breath, which you're doing constantly throughout the day, and you wanted to make that a conscious thing. And so that's what I focused on doing. So the first few days, not bad, got really hard, got really distracted. So I said, okay, let's maybe if I shorten it a bit, it'll help me feel more focused. So I shortened it down to 20 minutes. Felt okay, still not listening to anything. But then when it really kicked in about a weekend, I started listening just to YouTube videos and just morning meditations. And they were guided. I put my headphones in and I just listened to it, was in my posture, same posture every single day. And then I would just listen. I would just listen. My mind would still wander, of course, but I felt a lot more captivated by listening to somebody, and especially with all the ambient music and sounds. You just felt more into it. And so that's what I started doing. I started with a couple of YouTube videos. I did about a week of that, and then I moved on. Honestly, I learned it from a patient at work, and she was telling me about this meditation app, and it's called Insight Timer. I'll put a link in it on the bottom. And honestly, it is great. I feel like you can just scroll through, say how much time you want to do. I would do about 15-20 minutes, and then I would just try to, I didn't even have to try. I was looking forward to meditation every morning, because it was just I could see a profound impact already, because I noticed that I was becoming more present. I could catch myself when I was becoming too egotistical, or I was becoming too judgmental in my own head. I became more self-aware, and that allowed me to really, catch myself and ask myself, why do I feel this way right now? And if I don't like this, then I'm just going to take a deep breath and I'm going to cleanse it, and I'm just going to let the thought pass me by. So whenever it felt like I was getting judgmental, then I would just say like, okay, why am I thinking this way? Like my opinions on other people doesn't really matter at all. So I would take a deep breath and be completely cleansed of that. And that was really powerful and a tool that I want to continue to use. And so near the end of the entire process, I felt really good about meditation. Like I felt like not only was I excited to do it, but I was seeing benefits and I felt like I was getting better at it. Like my mind was becoming clearer. I was becoming more still in a way, and I could focus on my breath. And I know that meditation, like basically anything, is something that you have to keep doing, and if you want to get good at it. And I think it's one of those things that's definitely worth getting good at, because not only do you become more present in your life, and like I noticed just from my relationships with my girlfriend, my family, my friends, like I could just be there with them. Like I wasn't distracted thinking about like, oh, this new business idea, this new book, this new thing that I want to do, because I'm so just like, there's like almost like a curse in like wanting to be so ambitious, and that there's so many amazing things to do in this life, and you lose sight of what's right in front of you. And that's honestly probably the most important thing that I learned during this entire process. So, if I was starting over again, I would probably just start with how would you start? And I would just say, wake up in the morning, put a mat down, sit. You can lay down, but I liked sitting. I just felt like the posture was strong, and I just felt like I was really, I don't know, it's just doing that like yoga pose made me feel like I was really in the mindset and was aligned with meditation. So do that, cross your legs, sit with your hands on your laps, hands open, and get an app and just select the time that you want to start with. I suggest 15 minutes is a really sweet spot, and it's so easy to do, especially if you're listening to something. And honestly, the app itself has so many great titles that, whatever you're feeling during the day, let it call to you what you want to do. And it could be, manifesting, or, wealth, or sleep, or, your relationship, and any topic. And let that come to you, and just click it through. And if you don't like one, or if you like the first thing you hear is like a sound of a woman's voice that you don't like, then just don't do that one. Just go to the next one. But if it's starting and you're like a minute or two in, just finish through it and appreciate it. You don't have to love every single one, and you won't love every single one. For me, for example, I really liked, now it's gonna get pretty wishy-washy, hippie kind of stuff, but I really liked like the chakra ones, and like stuff that I never really knew about prior to. Chakras, I would always say, is like, some like straight up hippie bullshit. But the meditations of the chakras and realigning and all those kind of things serve as like a pretty good body scan and make you feel very aware and very present, which was the goal. And so I highly recommend those ones. And they weren't long. They were 15, 20 minutes. And also chanting. I really like chanting. Chanting made me feel strong. I felt like a Viking on a ship, and everyone was just like, oh, and like everyone was everyone being me, but being on the ship was just like a part of one thing, and we were all going for the same goal. So I don't know, it got me motivated, got me hyped up. I really enjoyed this process, and I think I'm going to continue doing it. And I definitely see the use in doing it in the morning, but I also want to push myself to do things like this in the morning instead, and that's making the YouTube videos, because I have definitely stepped away from making YouTube videos, and I won't lie, I've been feeling a little bit scared on making them, because I feel like I have nothing to offer or to say. So I'm going to try and focus on my weakness, which is making these YouTube videos, continuing to put out content, and continuing to think about putting out content. So I will start making YouTube videos in the morning when I'm awake, when I'm just dialed in and just ready, because I'm fresh. And I think I'm going to push meditation towards the night and make that as like a bookend habit before I go to sleep. So, turn off the phone, turn off all the devices an hour before, and read a book, and then do maybe like 15 minutes of meditation, but yoga's fine too. And then just have a really restful night of sleep. That's what I did last night, and I feel great. Watch says I got like 8 hours and 16 minutes, 95 sleep score. I'm feeling pretty good. confident enough to make this video today, no matter how good or bad it is. But yeah, I highly recommend it. I highly recommend the app. Try and do it, whatever your goals might be. Maybe you find that you're more spiritual than you think. Maybe you find that if you find yourself that you are getting distracted a lot, it really helps you focus and see what's important and becoming more present in your everyday life instead of just living through it without thinking about anything, without noticing things. So yeah, with that, best of luck. I really hope you try it out, and I'm going to continue to do it. I'm going to make another video on November's challenge here coming up, probably later today. So as always, remember to rep the set, and good luck out there.